Take note that the above case for declaration of wrongful removal return of the child was concluded on the 12th day of February 2016, where the following order was made. The child, Nina Charlotte Alexandra Barrera Perez, born 23rd October 2013, was wrongfully removed from Guatemala. It is hereby ordered that the child be returned to Guatemala immediately. Pursuant to Chapter 177 of the International Child Abduction Act, revised edition 2000, and the subsequent articles of the Convention. Meaning that basically the resolution made today was that Nina will be returned.
I know this is the last thing you wanted to hear.
Of course. I mean, it's been 3 months of battle, and ultimately we provided a very strong case. I must admit that my lawyer, he did a very good job at the end, but at the very end it was the judge who needed to use his discretion. And he believed that the removal was wrongful, and of course as a result made the decision to have her returned. So at this point, I've spoken to Nina's father, and we're trying to do things now in good grounds for the best interests of Nina. Of course, at this point, everything is out of my hands. There's nothing else I can do. So I'm going to have to investigate regarding the reports or claims that were made on my behalf. Apparently, there's some pending cases for me at courts in Guatemala. Besides the fact that we have to go back to family court, there's other stuff that was applied or reported, so I have to go deal with that as well. However, I mean, right now, my main plan will be to investigate what procedure I have to take, and as soon as I can, then go over to Guatemala to have this issue resolved.
Have you been given an indication of what happens to Nina from this point on? I know that she was removed from foster care today, I believe.
Definitely. She will be, as of today, will be handed over to Guatemalan authorities, the Guatemalan embassy, and then they will be according to what I have understood, they will then give her over to Guatemalan authorities, like for example, the Human Development Department in Guatemala, and then she should then be placed in foster home, and while court cases and court dates are determined and so forth.
Have you been given visiting rights?
According to what I understand, I will be giving visitation rights, just as we were granted visitation rights here in Belize.
From your conversation with Ernesto Barrera, are you hopeful that maybe you all will be able to work something out?
Well, he's already made his views towards me, towards what really happened. I tried to, ask him what was his main reason for doing all of this. And, he had already created some type of view in his own mind, which I do not agree with. However, at this point, it is useless for me to go in and fight with him regarding something that he's already, have stubborn within his mind. So obviously, my relationship right now would be mainly with my daughter being my main interest, my main purpose, to be able to have a friendly and peaceful relationship with him until the courts in Guatemala make the final decision.
Early on in the case, you had expressed concern, even fear at one point, about going back to Guatemala. Is that still the case?
Definitely, that case always exists. I can't just discard it. Even though I've already started communication with the father, that fear will always remain because of the abuse that and that I lived being with them, and of course, because of the time that I spent with them and the things that I know that they're capable of. However, upon speaking to him, he states that that was never the case, that him and his family would never threaten my life. But at the end of the day, that's what he's saying, right? But like I said, right now, I am not fearful. If my daughter has to go to Guatemala, then I'm going to follow her to Guatemala.
There have been a lot of people in your corner throughout this case. Perhaps you'd like to send a message to them, because you will need their prayers and support going into this.
Definitely, I would just want to thank first, God, because he, despite of the results right now, he has control over everything, and I know that there must be a reason for all of this. And of course, to everyone, to the whole country of Belize since day one, who has helped me and my family be able to locate resources, be able to have finances, to be able to do all the legal stuff. You know, I want to thank my family for the support, my mother, you know, and everyone who have been very active, not only with, you know, providing assistance of some type, through legal advice, through whatever financial, but also by those who provided support spiritually through prayers, and you know, just being there and having Nina and my family and me in their hearts.